So I've been wanting to do this, guys, because it's really simple, but I think what happens is I think people tend to complicate things. So I want to just lay out some steps for everyone. It's not, I don't like scripts. I don't like the script thing. So I'll tell you right now, when I'm using the app, I don't use their script. I rewrite it. I just use the link and rewrite the script. But there is a training that where if you follow the training, you can just follow the app exactly the way they have it laid out. Send the video
training
3 ways, somebody, blah blah blah. You can do it that way if that feels comfortable to you. It doesn't feel comfortable to me, so I don't use it. Yeah, Keith is shaking his head. I don't like canned, it doesn't sound like yourself, you're not sounding like yourself. So I don't like that.
The one star training that was put out says not to use it the way it's printed. That's just a suggestion.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Good.
That's
good. I like it. So I was out late too, Karen. It's really interesting, guys, how things work. Things will manifest for you if you don't force them. If you just expect things to happen and give it a lot of loving and energy and fall in love with the idea and get behind that idea and don't force things into existence, they will come. Things will happen. And that's kind of how I build my Neumi. I expect the leaders to come. I expect it. They're coming. This is too good for them not to. We just have to get the word out. So it may not be you, but it may be somebody that you know or somebody they know or somebody they know. And that's how the leaders are going to come into your organization that way. I'll give you an idea. What I'm experiencing right now. I watched Ammon Bundy's family get destroyed by the federal government. They were ranching on their land for 150 years. And the federal government came in and said, you're no longer going to be able to ranch on your land. We're going to claim your land. And we know they had plans for the land. But aside from that, they destroyed the watering systems they had for their cattle. They've been raising cattle on that property for 150 years. They started shooting the cattle from helicopters. They were scooping the cattle up, putting them in dump trucks and hauling them off. I mean, it was horrible. And the American people came. People were broadcasting what was going on, and the American people came. Thousands of people came and stood up against the federal government, and they left. And ever since then, I've been following the Bundys, and I've been following Ammon, and I always wanted to be close to them, and that they were the kind of people that I wanted to hang out with. Good people, stand up for others. Ammon's been standing up for people against the federal government. He's gone to jail to stand up for people's rights. And last night, Ammon Bundy bought Robin and I dinner. So that's just one example of how things will manifest in your life if you give it energy. It's very interesting how things happen. But the same thing happens with your Neumi business. The more energy you give it, the more energy you're going to have for it, and the more people are going to be attracted to it. It's just that way. God will answer the call. Okay? God will answer the call. If you feel it in your heart and you get emotional about it, you don't even need to say the word. You can feel it and think it, and it will become real. It will become real. And so there's some things that I want to cover that I think may help. And you guys don't have to be muted for this. You guys can all unmute because I want it to be kind of interactive. So let me share my screen real quick. I just wrote down some.
Real quick, isn't it your birthday today?
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, no.
just want to say happy birthday. I thought it was.
Oh. It's next month. Don't push it. I'm already old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't even know how old I am anymore.
Well, you look like you lost 20 years from the pictures that you used to have on WhatsApp.
Oh yeah, it's made a huge difference for me. Definitely made a huge difference for me. So I'm just going to leave this open. I just jotted down a few notes this morning. I really wanted to kind of keep the gallery view open because I want participation, you know. Can you guys all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So there is a system to follow. You can follow the Neumi system. Michael does a great job of laying things out for you. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, how to become a 1-star, and then there's trainings for after 1-star. There's so much information available for you guys and insights available for you guys. But I just wanted to share with you what I do and, to get people started. And I want to get Keith involved, maybe Nicole and maybe Sherman, involved in this conversation that we're going to have. So you just follow steps and use the tools. Use the tools. Though that app, that Neumi app is invaluable. You cannot put a price on that Neumi app. That thing is really responsible for 90% of my success. So I get this a lot, and you may too. When you first enroll someone, they always say, "I don't know anyone." This is okay. I mean, what they're really saying is that they're not 100%. They're not sold on what we have. They don't feel it yet. They're not feeling it yet. And so there's a lot of things that you can do to help them along. And that really goes for yourself too. You really have to have huge belief in order to pick up the phone and call people, right? I mean, it's right. I mean, you really have to believe that what you have is something they have to have. And it's got to be strong enough that it'll move you through the fear of picking up the phone and calling them. You should be strong enough that you don't feel the fear, that you're excited to call them and tell them about what you have. When you get to that point where you're excited to call them and tell them what you have, you're home. That's where you need to be. In your heart of hearts, without a doubt, this is something that everybody on the planet needs. So you need to really build your belief on what you have. And the way you do that is you get on these testimonial sites and go and read the testimonials. Here's the thing. If you want to rank up through the ranks, you're going to have to invest the time in Neumi. So read all the testimonials, go through the testimonials, message the person, ask them questions, get involved, really dig in and learn what you have your hands on. Listen to what the doctors are saying. Go into the app and go to the doctor section and watch those doctor videos and listen to what they're saying. The other thing is get on the Zooms. Sherman is a great example of this. I don't think you miss a Zoom, do you, Sherman?
A Zoom, any that we have, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I want to be there. It's important to set an example, and it's important to get motivated.
Yeah. So Sherman, we do that testimonial call, and a minute before Steve's going to start, Sherman just drops. He disappears. He's on that testimonial. He's on Steve's call. So, and I'm sure, Sherman, you've listened to Steve tell that story many, many times, haven't you?
I have, but oftentimes he'll insert something new that we haven't heard before. But nonetheless, it's a tool for us to introduce to others the leadership of the company and the breakthrough product. And it's important that everyone hear that. And the price of knowledge is eternal review. So we've got to do it over and over and over again.
That's what I wanted to hear from you. So you are, once you listen to it enough, you're able to actually consume what he's giving out, what he's sending out. You're actually able to repeat what he's saying because you listened to it so many times, right?
And that's part of the whole deal, right? It's important to be able to tell the Neumi story in addition to your story.
Right, exactly. And so if you hear it enough times, often enough, then you're going to feel more confident that you know what you're talking about. So that phone won't be so heavy. You know, you're going to be super confident. And so this is how you build belief, guys. You really need to dig in. And here's the other thing too. You want to, if you really want to rank up, you really need to dig in and meet your upline. And so I'm going to do a lot more of this. I'm going to get Mike back on. He's your upline diamond. I'm going to get Dr. Jerry on. I'm going to get Karen on with us so that you guys can meet them and listen to them and really understand how powerful this product is and this opportunity is.
But how much do you think you should be talking before you get him onto the video with Steve?
Explain to me again. Say it again.
Well, you're saying to listen to all this stuff so you have it totally in your head. You know, it comes automatically. But how much should you be saying, or what should you be saying to get them onto
it's more of a response, how you respond to what people say. It's more how you respond to what people say, not what you say. You want to be able to answer questions. Go ahead.
Vernon?
Yeah.
My suggestion is wait at least 30 seconds before you call somebody. And invite them on the call.
Yeah.
Whether you're ready or not. That's the tool.
Yeah. It's like, remember when you were kids, you wouldn't just put your toes in the water. You would just jump in. And no matter how cold the water was, you would just jump in. And then once you got in the water, you were fine. This is sort of the same way. Just make the call. And you know what? You might say all the wrong things in the beginning. You might say all the wrong things and do it all wrong the first 10 times. But if you're paying attention, you'll figure it out. You know.
Here's one thing, I don't mean to interject, but I've learned that if you can never say the wrong thing to the right person. So, you know, if someone's looking for an opportunity or a product for something that they're dealing with, it doesn't really, to me, it's just a matter of telling the story. And the more often you tell it, the more results you're going to get.
Could I mention something?
Mm-hmm.
I work with doctors, okay? And they're very knowledgeable. And they're not easy to work with, okay? A lot of them have huge egos, okay? So I'm going to give you an example of Dr. Redner. Now, Dr. Redner had signed up with me in New You Life. Couldn't do anything, and he called me up one day. He says, "I'm done," and hung up. Okay? So now, are you going to let that deter you from what this business has to offer? The difference between those two products, in my opinion, is night and day. This is truly a product-driven business. So when I called up Dr. Redner, I didn't hesitate. I just picked up the phone and did it. Don't make a big deal out of it. If he doesn't like it, next. Yeah. Okay? So he answered. He was very cordial and actually kind of excited to hear from me, which had been over a year and a half ago. Okay.
Mhm.
So I told him about glutathione, which he was knowledgeable, told him about how it's done. And so he wanted to hear a little bit more about it. But, I didn't have the answers that from a doctor perspective. So what I did is I said, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this business. You owe it to yourself to talk to the owner of the company. There is nobody more knowledgeable about glutathione than him. Okay. And that's going to be the perfect person for you to listen and ask your questions.
Mhm.
So he said, okay.
Yeah.
I got Sherman on the phone. I got Dr. Redner on the phone. And Sherman made arrangements to have a call with Steve. That call, Sherman, if I recall, was close to an hour, wasn't it?
I'd say so, yes.
Yeah, okay. And he went from I'm not interested in doing any of the pyramid scheme to now he's all in.
Mm.
So if you took the attitude of, I don't know what to say, just be who you are, okay? Don't make a big deal out of it, okay?
Yeah.
Or even so, what Alan just says, perfect example. He had already once told him, "Hey, I'm done with this." So Alan could have easily took the path that, well, he turned me down once before, quit me once before, but I'm not going to call him, right? But he didn't let that past experience stop him from at least offering it to Dr. Redner. And look what we got now. Look what Alan's got now.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, Dr. Redner hit 1 star last month. And we're having a conference call tonight with Steve, Sherman, myself, Dr. Redner, and a Dr. Ronnie, who's she's on the news all the time. Okay, she's a big deal. Okay,
mhm.
and so that's where it would take you.
Right. Right. So you're proving my point, Alan, and that is that you forgave him for saying no once before. You forgave him for that.
I never took it personally.
You never took it personal. It wasn't personal. He was just answering you based on the information that he had at the time.
Yeah, it's not an indictment on you. It's just his opinion.
Yeah. So you really gave him another opportunity to succeed, is what you did.
Yeah,
And he's thankful for it. I guarantee you.
very much so now.
And so
he's changed dramatically.
yeah. And so this is what happens, guys. I don't know anyone. Well, that's fine. And that's okay. That's a normal response. But the more you learn, the more you get involved, the more you understand what you have your hands on, the more people you're going to know. I'll give you an idea. Let me go to the next page here real quick, if I can. So the question is, I have a question for you. How many people do you have in your phone? How many contacts are in your phone?
Thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah, it took 5 minutes to sync up to my new car that we just got. So there's a bunch in there.
Yeah. So, if you guys all go to your phone, tell me, you guys all go to your phone right now and tell me how many contacts you have. Does it give you a number?
I don't know, maybe.
Let's look and see. I don't know if it gives you a number. Okay. I have 1,992 contacts. See it on the top?
Yeah.
You
Right.
see that? So,
Mhm.
so what I did was I just opened up my phone and I just scrolled through here, and I was looking for people that I felt, that I wanted to call. Like I skipped my son, I skipped my nieces, and the family, basically, because the family, I talked to them one-on-one personally. I called Eric. You see, I called Jim Cressy. I talked to Marina about what we were doing. Pete's swishing. Robin and Eric are in the business. You see, I called Sam, Sam got an account. They're taking the product. You see what's happening? That's my son, he's swishing. Susie's looking at it right now. So I just go through this, and then I go back through it again and call them again. And I'm watching their activity in the app. But here's the thing. I've only gotten to the D's. I've only gotten to the D's in my contact file. I haven't gotten any further because there's so much work to do in regards to following up, getting people started properly, and that kind of thing. So now, real quick, let me go back, and then I'll come back to this later. Let me stop the screen share. Okay. Did I just do that? Yeah, I did. I just called Marina. Okay. So
I thought I was going to hear a live contact.
I know, right? Yeah. And we'll probably do some of that too. So what are the next steps? So you pick up your phone, and you've got your contacts in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to call them. You're not going to text. Do not text people. Do not just blindly text people the link from the app. You will lose that game. If it's not important enough and not a big enough a story for you to call them, you're not ready. You're not ready. If you're not able to pick up the phone, call people and tell them your story, you're not ready. Do not text. You only text after you tell your story. After you tell your story, then you tell them you're going to send a link to them. And that you'll be able to track whether or not they watch the video. Oh, see, Marina's calling me back. So, yeah, let them know. Hey, I'm able to track the link. I'll see when you click on it, and so after you watch
Ever
the
join
video,
the call.
what's that? Have her
Ever
join the call.
join the call.
Yeah. So, let them know. Once you watch the whole video, then I'll call you back, and we'll chat a little bit more about what we have here. So you're going to follow their activity. So watch to see that they watch the video. Watch to see that they're clicking your link. This will be a tell of their level of interest. Are they interested? Are they not interested? Did they not click on the link? And then you can decipher the code. You can decide what your next steps are going to be. They watched 100% of the video, but they didn't click on the link. Well, that shows some interest. Maybe they didn't see the link. Maybe they didn't know the link was there. So maybe I'll call them and say, hey, that's great. I see that you watched the whole video. Did you click on the link under the video to my website and look down all over? Nope, didn't do that. Oh, I didn't even know it was there. Okay, great. Let them know, and then tell them, hey, look, I'm going to send you another link of what the doctors are saying about this stuff. And send them the interview with Dr. Kozier and Steve, or send them something. You guys decide what you want to send them initially. You decide what you want to send them secondarily. It's got to be something that you're excited about, something that you like. If they didn't watch the video, or maybe they only watched 10%, I'll shoot them a text and say, hey, I can see you haven't watched that video yet. You're making a big mistake. Go back and watch the video. It's not that long, and then they will. They'll go back. I've had so many people do that. And then when I call them or contact them, they go back and watch it, and then they get the product. So this is something that is invaluable. Now, you can measure their level of interest. If they watched 100%, they clicked your link and they started clicking all around. This is going to show you their level of interest. I've had some people that they clicked on 25, 30 things after they watched the video. Wow, they're ready to enroll, So at that point, I just call them up and say, hey, I'm calling to get you your account, get you set up and get the product coming your way. I just assume they want it if they've been clicking all around. And virtually every time, 100% of the time, they always say, yeah, let's get it going. I want that product. That product's amazing. So this tool is something that you should all be using. Do not send more than one link at a time. Do not bury people. That's a big mistake. And don't talk. There's no reason to talk. Don't talk. Just say enough to let them know what your next step's going to be. Sherman will talk a little bit more, but Sherman is strong as hell. He can do that and get away with it. You understand what I'm saying? So once you've been working this and you've had some level of success, you're going to have the confidence to say a little bit more too. But when you're just starting out, rely on the tools. Don't try to force things into existence. You're gonna offer them the product retail, or whether they want to become a customer or a member. You're gonna want to know what level of interest they have, and then you're gonna go ahead, Sherman.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you're going to send them your link, or you can three-way them to support. I think Sherman does that a lot. He just three-ways people into support, and they enroll right there on the phone. That's an old school way of doing it. Sometimes if you send people a link, they'll get busy and forget about it or lose interest. So if you think that may happen, or it's somebody that you really, really want on your team and you don't want them to slip through the cracks, three-way them into support and get them in, put them in. So
He's asking, what do you mean three-way to support? Explain that.
yeah, so this happened for Karen Sims. Karen, I don't know if you're on or not. I can't see the participants right now, but let me bring up this. Let me bring up the camera. I'll give you an example. So Karen Sims gave somebody the number for Neumi to enroll. They called, and oh yeah, Neumi put them in all right under somebody else. So they ended up not being underneath her, and we had to call the company yesterday and get it fixed. So the company moved them underneath her, but that's the company. Once the company gets big enough, they're not going to be able to do that anymore. You got to make sure these people end up underneath you. So this is one way of being in control. And I told Karen, don't do that anymore. Three-way them into the company. So just tell them, hang on a second, let me get the company on the line, put them on hold, tell them don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold, put them on hold, and call the company and merge the company onto the call with your prospect. And let the company know I have so-and-so on the phone. They would like to enroll under me in Neumi. And they want to be they want to purchase retail, they want to be a customer, or they want to purchase, or they want to become a member. Let the company know. And then they'll take their information and put them in the system for you, and then you're done. You can do it that way. Okay. Don't sell. Please don't sell. This is network. With network, I learned this from Bob Schmidt. Bob Schmidt always used to talk about this. It's got to be their idea. You can't force people into doing something they're not really not, their heart's not in, they're not interested in. Don't force them. It's got to be their idea. Just give them enough information that they want it. They're telling you, yeah, I want it. Then yes, right?
Yeah, I've learned that if you got to drag them to it, you'll have to drag them through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Scott's really good at recruiting too. So Scott, if you want to chime in at any time, please chime in. But
the only thing I would say relative to do not sell is the hardest working amateur networkers are ones that try to sell and try to convince. the highest paid professional networkers are the ones that have learned to sort. And you're not trying to sort people in, you're trying to sort the unqualified ones out, because it's much easier to give birth than it is to try to raise the dead. And we try to take all the time, we try to get our friends and the people that know us, our family, and we try to beg them to come in. They're the hardest people to deal with. You know, I have a saying, never try to teach a pig to sing. It wastes your time and annoys the hell out of the pig. When we start taking family and everything, you're not only trying to teach a pig to sing, you're trying to teach the pig opera, the barber of Seville. It doesn't want to do that. So he who shares the most links in this game will win, period.
I love that. 100%. 100%.
He
Bob
or
Schmidt-
she who shows the plan the most wins.
That's right. Regardless of whether they say yes or no, regardless of whether they're interested or they're not interested, that
Right.
doesn't matter.
No matter.
It
We
doesn't
get all butthurt if we share something with somebody and then they don't want to do it. And I think we get confused because we think that we're the message. We're not.
Mhm.
We are the messenger.
Yeah.
And all we do is deliver a message. If it takes, that's great. If it doesn't, that's great too.
I think this is probably a really strong point to make, this point right here, because so many people make the mistake of trying to, Bob Schmidt used to say, do not try to put a square peg in a round hole. If the hole is round, the square peg won't go in. Just move on. Move on. Don't keep beating that drum if they're not interested. Just move on. Go to the next, because what'll end up happening is they'll suck your energy. They'll suck your energy, and it'll be difficult to continue making the
Right.
calls.
If you do take the advice of just moving on, you'll find that people are still watching you. And the ones that told you no, that it wasn't that it was NO, it was KNOW. They just didn't know enough at that time to be interested. And as they watch you and follow you, they learn more. Then they're contacting you on the back end saying, hey, I just saw your post, or I just saw this or whatever. I think I'm ready to get that product now, or I'm ready to get it. It always happens.
I learned from
Yeah.
somebody, it's real simple. We're in the sorting business, not in the convincing business.
Right, exactly. That's right, Alan. So how much are you going to sort? How much are you going to sift? Are you going to sift through a lot of sand or a little bit of sand? What you're looking for, diamonds in the sand, you just start sifting. And if you sift enough of sand, you're going to find those diamonds. And they may not come through you. They may come through somebody else. If you have a team of 10 people sifting through the sand, somebody's going to find a diamond. And then they have 10 people, you're going to have diamonds coming. It's just going to happen. So let me go. I don't know how much of this So the other thing is that part of winning is making sure that you get people started properly. Okay. Make sure that people, you really want to help build their confidence in the product and in the company, in the compensation plan. And so how do you do that? How do you get them started properly? Put them into the back office and get them started on the back in the get started training in the back office. That's a great place to start. Send everybody there. That's really the beginning. Do that. Make sure that they're watching the videos of the doctors. Make sure they're getting on Steve's Zoom on Tuesday and Thursday. Make sure they're getting on my Zoom where I go through the compensation plan. Get them plugged in. Get them plugged in and introduce them to your sponsor and your upline. Introduce them. I just brought Sandy and Tom in. Sandy's on here right now, and I've introduced Sandy to Bobby, and now I'm going to introduce her to Dr. Jerry, and then probably introduce her to Karen. So, so that they know that this is a team effort, and they'll be able to draw on other people's expertise and not just have to rely on mine. you know, get them plugged in. The other thing too is what I learned from Bob, my mentor, is that, you know, Bob used to match people up. So it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody upline. I could introduce Tom and Sandy to somebody sideline that has a great story to tell. You know, just the more stories people hear, the more confidence they're going to have in you know, picking up the phone and making the calls and sending out the links and following up and doing all that. Really, really important. You just don't sign people up and let them hang. You get them plugged in, you give them information, you answer questions, you guide them through the jungle. Otherwise, you're just going to enroll them and they're really not going to have any ammunition to go anywhere. It's going to be difficult for them. Now, I'm odd that way. Sherman is the same. Probably Keith, you're the same. You know, you get plugged into something like this, you just start going through all the information, start building your confidence on your own. You know what I mean? That's what I did. You know, Bobby helped me a lot, answered a lot of questions, but I was calling Jerry and answering. She introduced me to Jerry. I was on the phone with him every day asking questions, you know, and Sherman got connected right away with people upline and got connected right away with the company, you know, so that he could get his level of questions answered. So these are just really important points. I took notes and I thought I better stop taking notes on what I want to cover because I could just go on forever, you know. But I think that this is just a good start. Let me ask. Let me ask. Anybody have any questions? Were you all following how we were going through that? You know?
You did great, Hernan. I think we need to have that on paper for a lot of us.
Oh yeah, we could do that. Like on a little PDF, like, you know, how to get started properly or whatever, yeah, I think that's a good idea. So
I totally agree. Everything that all of these leaders, I just can never take enough notes. Awesome. Keeping it simple and that's duplicatable.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not going to be able to duplicate Sherman. You know, Sherman operates at a level that, you know, I may not be comfortable at. You know, I'm going to operate at my own level, and you are too. You do what you feel comfortable doing. Just do it. That's the difference between the ones that are ranking through the ranks and the ones that are not. They're action. They're on the phone, they're on the computer, they're sending links, they're making calls, they're following up, they're doing the work. Action. The ones that aren't ranking aren't doing as much work. They're not giving it as much energy. They're not giving it as much attention. You know, what is your intention here at Neumi? What is your intention? You know, is it how many people do you see in your organization, in your mind's eye and in your heart? And then are you willing to do the work to make that, to allow that to manifest in your life, you know? And then you do it. I'm available and your upline's available to help you get through the little hurdles that you might have. This is a team effort, guys. This is a team effort. We're here to help.
Eli is asking, what do you do when what do you say when you do a blind call? Like, you going through your contact list?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to go over that. So thanks for asking that question. So Sherman, when we were on the phone, how did that conversation go? Do you remember?
Well, yeah, you brought up the issue with your legs. You talked about your hearing. You talked about your eyesight and those issues. And I was having a challenge with my weakness in my legs. You know, part of that might be age and Part of it might be from COVID, who knows? But that really rang a bell with me. And I told you I wanted to go to the home office the very next day and meet Steve and Scott. And of course, we did that. You know, I drove 15 minutes, you drove 2.5 hours. And we ended up having dinner with Steve. And then we talked in the office after, and the total conversation was probably about 5 hours. And 3 hours of that was about his Christian faith, his books that he's written. And I thought, wow, this guy's got some different priorities than the typical owner. And so that got my attention. But here's the thing that, you know, once I met Steve, once I heard what he had to say, I was pretty well sold. And we got busy and started following up on people. But here's the thing, you know, after we were far and away the top income earner in Zango, and it was slow and tedious. It was a hard build. You know, our first month was $60. The next month was $163, $360, and so on. And our rate of growth here has been about 6 times faster. But here's the surprising thing to me. I'm not doing any of the things that I did in Zango. I'm not traveling. I'm not doing meetings all over the United States and around the world. I'm working strictly from my office at home. I'm using Zoom. I'm using cell phones, and I'm working maybe 5 hours a day. That's it.
Okay. So what are you doing?
Well, I'm calling people. I've got a lot of contacts, of course. So I'm calling people that I've known or met in the past and telling them the story, telling them the Neumi story, telling them my story. And more often than not, they want to try the product. And but the thing that surprises me is, despite the fact that I'm 20 years older, despite the fact that I'm not traveling, despite the fact that I'm not conducting meetings other than Zoom and so on, we're growing faster. And it boggles my mind, because the first 3 companies we tried after Zango, we did very mediocre. You know, nothing to shout about at all. And this thing has taken off like a rocket. And I'm just kind of flabbergasted by it. I'm not working any harder. I'm probably working less hard, but we're getting better results. And I think there's 3 reasons for that. The first reason is leadership. Steve Scott, that's a key issue. The second issue is a true breakthrough product that I've never had before. And number 3 is the best comp plan we've ever had the opportunity to work with. And I think those 3 issues are combining to create this organic growth and eventually exponential growth. You know, just in the last week, we've been rising at about $5,000 to $6,000 a day. And so we've got about 9 days left in the month, and I expect we'll add 45 to 50,000, and that'll put us at 165,000 of volume, which is what we were talking about. So we're already qualified as diamond. We've got 4 1-stars already. So as soon as we have the right volume, you know, situation with the 50% from one leg, we'll be a double diamond. And I think that'll happen before the end of the month. But folks, what can you do to work 5 hours a day to become a crown diamond? I mean, it's mind-boggling, you know?
Right.
So
Well,
you just have to get it in your head and go do it.
thank you for sharing.
I think Sheila's question more is on the line of what, like, let's say I go through my contact and let me call Hernan. So I call Hernan and say, hey, Hernan, this is Keith. I know it's been a while since we chatted. How's it going? You know, you're going to kind of a little bit of small talk, not a whole lot. You don't want to go on for hours. Hey, look, there's a reason I called, but first I want to catch up. What's been going on with you? That type of thing. And then well, look, I don't know if it's anything that you're open to or not, but this is what we partnered with Steve Scott, you kind of tell that story. This is what it's done for me, that type of thing. I think that's what she's looking for.
Yeah.
What type of process, would
Yeah, that's
could anybody use?
right. So Sherman, when Sherman and I talked, I told Sherman my story. I gave him my testimony. That's what I did in the beginning. That's the first thing I did. And here's the thing, guys.
Yeah.
Eric's on here. Eric, when I first contacted you about this, what did I say? Are you able to talk? How about Karen? Are you able to talk, Karen? What did I say when I called you, Karen? What did I do?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was so magical. I forgot.
I told my story, didn't I?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well,
Okay.
the first thing, I don't know what the first thing was.
Yeah, I told my
But
story.
absolutely, you told me the story.
Yeah. So here's what I'll do, guys. I just cut to the chase. I'll call somebody and say, are you sitting down? If you're not sitting down, sit down, because I got a hell of a story to tell you. And I tell them my story. I tell them my testimony. I don't, dink around. I just get right to it. I grab them by the throat and set them down. This is too important to dilly-dally.
So
This
these are people that you've had recent interaction with, or are
No, these are
that-
people I haven't talked to in a year or two.
Okay, that's all I want to clarify.
Yeah, I call them up, tell them, sit your ass down. I got something to tell you.
But they know you. It wasn't just a casual. You got their number from
These the people that are casual that I don't know, I don't call. I pass up their name in the contact file. I don't call them. I only call the people that I know. Okay. Now, sometimes it happens organically, but every time I call somebody, the first thing I do is tell them my story. And then I shut up. I don't say anything else. And I wait to hear what they have to say. And then I decide where to go from there. So if they show any interest, I tell them, great, I'm going to send you a link. I'll text it. If they say, oh, don't text, send me email, I send them email. And then I start tracking that link to see their level of interest. And then I determine the next move based on their level of interest. Are they clicking around like crazy? Did they watch all the video? If they didn't, then I'll text them or call them and say, hey, you're making a big mistake. I'm not kidding. I'm serious about this. You really need to watch this video. Go back and watch it.
It's called
then
posture.
Huh?
It's called posture.
I'm coming from a position of strength.
Yep.
I
Absolutely.
know in my heart of hearts that this is going to be really good for them.
Yeah.
I'm
That's-
the one that they don't know. I know. They don't get it. They can't spit the hook. If I got them in the lip, I'm not going to let the string loose for them to spit the hook. I'm going to keep them on the hook. And whatever answers I can give them that will move them in the direction I want to move them, that's where we're going to go. But I'm not going to talk their ear off. I'm not going to try to convince them. I'm just going to use the system. I'm going to use the app. I'm going to rely on the app to do the work. If they're hungry, if they're interested, if they're open, great. So if they do a lot of clicking around and I see a lot of interest and they're watching everything, I'm just going to call them up and say, hey, look, I can see that you're super interested. Let's get you in the system. How do you want to do it? You want me to send you, I can send you a link right now and you guys could just go in there and order. Do you think you want to just buy it retail? It's $65. Do you want to become a customer? It's a 2-bottle auto ship requirement, or you can just become a member. You don't need to be on auto ship, just become a member. Order whatever you want, and then I tell them I'll follow up with you after you click on the link and jump in. Then I'll follow up with you and answer any more questions you might have. So I just assume that they want the product if they're clicking all around. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Hernan?
Yeah.
One of the biggest things they always talk about is what's your why? And if you're chasing money, you're in the wrong business, okay? It's your why that's going to determine how you're going to approach people. And all the things that you said, just talk about the product, things of that nature. But what are the things that motivate you in life, okay? And apply those things to your business, okay? And that's going to help drive you to do because you're going to have some days when you're contacting people and getting nowhere. But remember, you're not in the convincing business, you're in the sorting business, okay?
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So I'm the worst person in the world when it comes to the why thing. I don't have a why. And the reason is because I've been doing this for 47 years. And I realized that people can have a why that makes them cry, but they still won't do the work. So I don't normally go there.
Well, let me explain why I do it. My why isn't about money, okay? One of my goals in life is to give away half of everything I earn. I give it away, okay? And the reason why I do that is because I'm focused on them. I'm listening to them, okay? And once I embraced the idea of giving, my life changed, okay? And Sherman knows my situation where I went through a costly divorce, but it released me, okay? And it was God's way of contacting me and letting me know what are the real priorities in life. Because when you can reach and touch other people, there's no greater gift than that. So that's the thing that motivates me. Now, your motivation may be something different, but determine whatever that is and use that with a heart of giving, okay?
Yeah, right. I think for me, I think I just enjoy helping people. I've always have. I think when I was first raised by my mom and dad, I was a yellow. I wanted to help people. And that's just who I am. But I've changed over the years. I'm more of a red blue now. I was a blue before I met Sherman and Bob. And then I became a little bit red. They rubbed off on me a little bit. But, right, Scott? That'll happen. The people that you surround yourself with is very important.
You
Very
become
important.
the total of the 5 people you surround yourself with the most.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, so that's real important. If the people that are around you aren't at a place where you want to go or be, then you might want to build some new relationships with people.
Vernon,
Yeah.
might share an idea here.
Yeah.
Based on what Alan was talking about. One of the greatest inspirations I get from this business is what's happening in my organization. You know, the first person that I brought into the business was Catherine Pekin, and Catherine was a inveterate network marketer, but she never made any money. You know, she was just loyal. She was always there. She tried, and she would make a few $100s here, a few $100s there. But with the organic growth that we're seeing, she brought in Beth Bridgman, who brought in Missy, who brought in Keith, who brought in Nicole. Man, you talk about a home run, those 4 or 5 people.
Who brought in a big paycheck.
Yeah. And she is earning more money now than she ever dreamed of. And she actually told me, I don't know if she's on the call. If she is, I might be embarrassing her, but she said, I went out for dinner and I had a hamburger, and I've never dreamed of doing anything like that. And that
Yeah.
that inspires you when you see people like that, their lives are changed.
Yeah, we feel your heart, Sherman. We feel your heart. Yeah. Think about that, guys. I think that's what drives me too. What drives me is being involved in something where you can really impact somebody's life in a big way. She's on a fixed income, no doubt.
Well, Catherine is going to be a crown. There's no doubt about it. She'll make $100,000 a month, I think, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just
awesome.
astounding.
Awesome.
Yeah. She has the confidence now to continue on and do what needs to be done. She realizes what she has a hold of, and she's going to give it the energy that it requires. It's an amazing opportunity, guys. It really is.
I realize $100,000 a month is definitely living on a budget, but you can adapt.
Yes. That's right.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing about it is that every breathing person basically needs the product. So it's not
Yeah.
a matter of
That's right.
Yeah.
sorting that part of it out.
Yeah, and you never know too. Look at, you never know who you're talking to. No, this is being recorded. I didn't want to record it, but I forgot to stop the recording. So yes, it's being recorded. You never know who you're talking to, guys. Do not pre-qualify people. Do not, because you never know who they know. You never know.
Hernan, can I share something with you?
Yeah, yeah.
I was working for another company, prepaid legal, and we had a guy that sat in the back of the room, and he was the laughing stock of everybody. He came in Farmer John overalls and a wife beater t-shirt and a moleskin notebook. And for 58 or 59 continuous weeks, he sat on the farthest corner of the room from the platform that you could sit on. If there'd been a seat in the restroom, he just sat there. But he took, over the course of a year, probably 13 notebooks. And I was doing a meeting twice a week at a hotel. And finally, after about, I guess it'd been almost a year and a half, he came up to me and he said, I finally got it. And I was so excited, so unbelievably excited for him. And he went out the following week and recruited one person. That person was Fran Alexander in prepaid, and that person made him $250,000 a year. And what I've learned the hard way in network marketing, when you say don't prejudge, the guy that shows up in an Armani suit with his Ferrari, he's not your guy. Your guy is the plumber that's got his butt crack hanging out and his wife beater t-shirt because he doesn't know enough not to just go out and tell everybody. And that the guy that you least expect will be your guy every single time.
Yeah, isn't that so true? That is so true. And you're saying that based on your experience, and you have lots of experience.
About 5 decades.
Yeah. So why couldn't you have given that opportunity more energy? You were only doing 2 hotel meetings a week. What's wrong with you, Scott?
Well, 2 hotel meetings, about 6 conference calls. But you know, I learned networking the hard way. I came in and I thought I was fairly educated and I thought I knew how to do things. And so I spent the first 5 years of my networking career banging down the road, driving my car with a square wooden wheel when I could have just simply used the tools and the high-speed radio the company provided, like the app. But I had a different way of doing things. And it took me about 5 years to figure out that, I don't know, that was kind of a special level of stupid. But the tools, a video never has a bad hair day. It never gets embarrassed. It never gets timid. Never has a headache. It always says the same thing. And it's so much simpler.
Yeah, yeah. So I spent 20 years, guys. I spent 20 years in network marketing, going to all the meetings, doing all the trainings. And, you know, we did okay. I mean, I might have made $500 extra a month, that kind of thing, over the 20 years on top of my full-time work. But, and I was searching for the secret, and I kept interviewing the leaders, expecting to hear the secret. And then after about 20 years of banging my head up against the wall, I realized there's no secret. You just have to do the work. Holy cow. And that happened based on my reading the master key and meeting Proctor. Proctor put it together for me that if I do the work and expect the results, it will happen. And so I went from sitting in back of the room, like our friend in prepaid legal, I went from sitting in the back of the room to standing in front of the room. And I was the last person on the planet that you would expect to stand in front of the room, because all throughout my whole childhood, If the teacher asked me to speak in class for any reason, I would go to the beach that day. Yeah, you too, Keith. I would go to the beach that day. I would not be in school. I didn't care what my grade was going to be. I was not going to speak in front of the class. I was always in back of the group listening, never in front of the group talking. And I realized that I needed to stop being a follower and I needed to start being a leader. So I needed to start telling the story, you know, and the moment I did that, then everything began to happen. And it was not luck. It was a gift from God. And Sherman was a big part of that, because Sherman and Bob both were all over the country doing meetings, and my people were able to plug into those meetings, and they were bringing guests, and it just built. Okay. But nothing changed until I got in front of the room and started telling the story. And it built my confidence, allowed me to share more often with more people. And that's really what changed my success in network marketing, is the fact that I grabbed the bull by the horn.
Einstein was a pretty brilliant guy, and he's known for his sayings. One of them everybody knows: the definition of insanity is just to take something that's not working and do it over and over and expect it's going to work for you. But we never, ever talk about the other side of the coin. And the other side of the coin is this: for every in, there's an out; for every up, there's a down; for every head, there's a tail. The flip side of that coin is the other definition of insanity, is to take something that's working with tremendous leaders like you, with Sherman, and do what they're doing the same way they do it. And the other definition of insanity is to expect it won't work for you. At the end of the day, this industry is 140 years old. It's been creating millionaires for over a century. If you just find somebody that's successful, copy what they do. It's okay to copy. You just got to copy the right cat. Just copy what they do. Do it the same way. The definition of insanity is to expect it won't work for you. Now, our gifts are a little different with every person. Some people are better speakers. I'm a terrible recruiter. I'm a good trainer, but I'm a terrible recruiter. That's not my thing. But I can take and plug people into people that are good recruiters. Mm-hmm. So if we just follow the leadership in any company that's there, assuming you got a fabulous product and great leadership, and it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, right.
The right product, the right leadership, and it's stupid to think you won't be successful.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an old saying: stories sell, facts tell. Okay.
Right.
And just share your story. It's you. They're listening to you, mm-hmm. and that authenticity will be there for people to grab hold of.
Mm-hmm. The more I know, the more I get to know Nicole, the more I have, the more respect I have for her, and because Nicole, I've been following Nicole. I watch all of her videos. As they come across the screen, I'll watch them. And I can see why people want to be with, why people want to hang with Nicole, because she's fun. She's happy. She's laughing. She's crying. She's emotional. She's sharing happiness.
She's real.
Huh?
She's real.
Yeah, she's absolutely real. She's giving people what they need. She's giving people a smile. She's giving people a smile, a good feeling. And they just naturally want to be with her, be around her. And she's like a giant magnet. I mean, I looked at her enrollment. I looked at her enrollments the other day. I can't even see them all. They won't fit on the screen. They won't. I shrunk my browser to 50% so that I could see all the enrollments. That's how many she's brought in. So she deserves all the success.
If you're able to see them all at 50% reduction, you got a big screen.
She's going to be a crown. There's no doubt in my mind. Why? Because she is sharing like crazy. All day long, she's sharing. She does, I don't know how many videos you do, Nicole, because I'm not seeing them all. How many videos are you doing every day?
Every day. I guess I should go live more, but I've been so busy on the phone and just helping people. And I know you see those people across, but I'm stacking deep. What I do is I love that holding tank because it gives you a chance to see, you know, are the people going to like the product? You know, I can check on them. Hey, did you get your swish? Are you noticing anything? I can kind of feel for if they're going to order again. Do they have a testimony? Is it going to be a solid person in a team? Have they started sharing? So I can kind of gauge. And then when it pops that 30 days are up, you know, 29 days, I got to move those people. I can place them accordingly. Like, okay, what team would they fit best with, right? Are they a strong leader? So I'm kind of I'm strategizing. So I hope you don't think like I'm going to keep all those people directly.
No, I looked at your placement too. Your placement looks nothing like your enrollment.
Yeah. Okay. So those people will all be placed. I only want 6 legs and 6 legs only, maybe a spare if I have to, you know, have somebody sitting there. But I think you hit it on the nail. And it's funny because I do a mentorship call with $1 million earner every Monday night. I get on his mentorship calls, and last night, all we talked about for 2 hours is how his whole life changed when he shared a story. He was getting up on stage and he started saying like, oh yeah, I was a mortgage broker and I sold loans and I've done 22 million. I did this and that and that, and nobody cared. And then his mentor was like, no, what did you really do? Tell him about going to jail. Tell him about this. Tell him about your hard times. And then he broke down, told a story, and his whole life changed. And I feel like, and he's been my mentor for a long time. He helped take me to my first 6 figures in the industry. But it was from that I just started living my story out loud. People see my story every single day. You know, you can never overtell like what happened to you and who you're going to reach and what kind of people you're going to connect with through living your life. It's not easy though. You're going to get haters and you're going to get, you know, it's not easy to be in a spotlight, but when you're vulnerable and you're open, even if you feel dumb or you just don't know who you're relating with. And when people can relate to you, it changes everything. And I just think I've been doing this for so long, and now it's just kind of all aligning, you know, all the things that I've done. Now I now have the right product, you know, the right leadership, the right vehicle, and it's just kind of synergistic. It was never right before. You know, but it wasn't like I was doing nothing. I just make sure I'm present every single day. And that's my job. That's my life, right? Like living out loud. That's what I call it.
Living out loud. That's perfect.
Yeah. So I just, you know, we have to share a story. And I think with this company, what I notice is a lot of, you know, it's a lot of the elder generations. Okay. The generation after me. And a lot of people are very successful at, you know, phone calling and belly to belly and, you know, hand to hand and whatnot. And I don't think there's a lot of social media present influence yet. I look at all the diamonds that have reached diamond and none of them are social media marketers. You know, none of them have that. But that's today's day and age. We have to be there. We have to go live. But that's how people function today. And I think what you're going to see coming is that when the social media marketers start hitting on some of these influencers, this company's just gonna explode. And if you want to be part of that game, it's like you got to get into what's modern. I mean, I'm not saying the phone calling isn't great. It's been successful for many people, but you know, social media, we have such an advantage. And by sharing our story, it can take anybody to whatever heights they want to go to if they just would come out of their hiding behind a camera or behind what they think is disabling them is actually enabling them, right? Like what you go through, you grow through. And we have to, where we are is because of where we've been. And, you know, that was kind of like our call last night for 2 hours. So I think it's kind of ironic that we're talking about this morning because you knew nothing about, you know, my call. But I think you nailed it on the head. And, you know, that's what we have to duplicate and get people to feel comfortable. He actually on the call, he did this, okay, what's your Rudy moment? and he was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you all had to like share your story within 30 seconds to a minute, like have your story down within a minute. I put on my Facebook today, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. So when someone presents you and at the time, do you have your story down packed within, 30 seconds to a minute to get their attention? Like, are you always ready? And, I just feel like I've focused on, just always sharing my story. So it's natural to me because I just share, the stupidest things. If I'm at a concert, if I'm, swimming in the pool or cleaning whatever, like, people just want to see like your personality and your tone and, what you do for fun and, throwing arrows or whatever,
Living your life out loud.
living my life out loud. So,
Yeah, I'm going to write that down, Nicole.
yeah,
Living your life out loud.
You are going to run out of people sooner or later, Nicole. There's only 374 million people in America.
no way. We're going to the top. I already see Neumi as like top 10, top 5 in the whole industry. Sure. Within 1 year, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to get some big social influencers coming on. That's my vision.
You know what? You better be careful, because if your team starts doing what you do, you'll be like,
It's gonna be a double crown.
you'll be on your way to Mars. I mean, I don't know how the gravity is going to keep you on the planet. If your people start sharing the way you share online, live the way you do, living out loud, it would be, I think that, regardless of whether you're having to pick up the phone or do what Nicole does by going live online and sharing your life with people, it's a fear thing, right? Because I've wanted to do that. I've actually picked up the phone, Nicole, and went like this to hit the button and go live and did this. No way, I'm not doing that, right? I mean, it's
Just so you know, I still get nervous every time I do it. I have to work myself up. I turn on the music. I usually have to hold something in my hand, and I set the phone down. I'm like, just go, Nicole. And I still get nervous. But I just start doing it. And as soon as I get on, people start talking to me. I just start calming down and feeling better, but it doesn't fail. Every live is still like nerve-wracking.
you just jump in the water no matter how cold it is.
I'm like, push the button, Nicole, your hair's fine. You don't look bad. You're like, whatever. The worse I look, the better the videos. The dumber I think I sound, the more messages that I get. It's crazy. People think they look bad, sound dumb, and those are the best because they're like, wow, she can do that. Yeah. And she's doing this. I could do that. You're
real.
Relatable. You become relatable.
Yeah. You're real. Yeah.
So how many times a week, Nicole, do you think someone should do what you do, or not?
I mean, I've been kind of bad at it, but I've been really busy. And plus, I haven't even like showered in like a week because I'm so like. No, I did. I showered this week and I had a barbecue, but I just haven't even felt like getting on because the phone is blowing up and I don't want to miss messages and calls in Zooms and. It's been crazy, but I would say if somebody can go live once a week, that would be a good algorithm push, a start. I think if you go live too much, people start passing through your stuff, just like anything. Your social media should be mixed. It should be a little bit of business, a lot of life, a lot of did I just cut out? My mom just called. A little business, a business post, today or tomorrow, a lifestyle post, what are you doing, your family, where you're going, an interest, whether that's politics, whatever you want to talk about. A lot of my following is politics. I don't suggest it on other people. But, it could be your garden, it could be books, it could be art, whatever you like to do. And just, something either inspirational or funny, like just having that good mix, but it should be your post and not shared content of other people's. Mm-hmm. Yes, sometimes you're going to share people's stuff and share memes and share a good video that somebody did, but you should repost it and give them credit because then it takes them off your page and onto that other person's page, and when you start posting too much image content, it's like spammy. They just start kind of passing through and they don't, engage. You need engagement.
Right.
Engagement posts are amazing, like asking questions, relating to current times, something about what's going on with monkeypox or whatever, what do you think about monkeypox? Just the engagement and attraction. But the biggest thing that I think helps my algorithm, especially being blocked and shadow banned, is I'm very engaged into other people. So I'll spend a good 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night simply just commenting and liking other people's statuses, whether they're in my business or not. Congratulate, because that puts them in your feed. So if you don't want to share something with someone, but you want them to see what you're doing, go see what they're doing and support them, build that relationship. Wow, great job. Or, your kid did amazing, whatever it is your engagement with other people. Because if you're not engaging on other people, then your algorithm is going to drop. So you got to give and take, it's like, this social media game is kind of crazy. It's definitely not for everybody, but there's ways around it. So
it doesn't take you long to go and comment or like on somebody else's feed, and that's what creates the engagement both ways.
Yeah, I want to before we go, I want to have Keith chime in, but before you chime in on the live thing, because Keith goes live a lot on Facebook, and he just shares from his heart and so Sandy, I want to ask you, I don't remember, because Tom is a T and you're an S in my contact file. So I don't think I got that deep in the contact file. I did look at networkers in my contact file, but what was it that when you reached out to me, why did you reach out to me?
Because your post on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what, and I saw a few times, but remember, I agree with you on a lot of the things you talk about. So I follow you because of that. And then Tom happened to see it. And so then we kind of came together, because like I said, we weren't going to do anything. This was, forget it. I'm not doing this again. And it's been a long time. And so then he said something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was thinking the same thing. But it was because of your post on Facebook.
Okay, so you reached out to me, and then we got on the phone together.
Yeah.
And what did I tell you guys right out of the gate? What was the thing that I talked about right out of the gate?
Yeah, what happened with you, or what?
I told my story, didn't I?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how the contact is made. The contact is made, and then I share my story. And after I shared my story, what was your reaction?
Well, it just makes so much sense, because, and almost everybody has something going on with them physically, or they need just more. With me, it's more just, I need more energy, that kind of thing. So, and I'm really looking for something like that. I've been looking. So I think we were just ready to go, obviously contacting you.
Yeah.
So,
right.
So I think just your experience.
It was the round hole and the round peg came together, right?
That's exactly right.
To that point, that's happened a couple times, you guys. It hasn't all been on the phone. Some of my posts get people's attention too, but I always tell my story. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure this is what's happening for Nicole, as she's putting up her lives, people are contacting her, and then that's why I can just imagine how much she's on the phone. But Keith does these lives. Keith, can you just share a little bit about what you do?
Certainly. I know I don't go as live as much as I used to. I used to do a daily live, but I'm like Nicole. I got to kind of wind myself up. It's because my history being very introverted. When I was in high school, if we went to a party, I was a guy in the corner. I didn't purposely go out and meet anyone. That was just, the Air Force changed that for me when I was in the military. I became an instructor, and you gotta get up in front of people and do things when you're an instructor, right? You gotta teach. So it was kind of a forced change, but it still doesn't change the fact. Look, the people's greatest fear next to death by fire is public speaking. And so I gotta, it's kind of nerve wracking sometimes. So even though I've done a lot of them, I would suggest someone getting started doing Facebook. Number one, that is the future in how to market online is video, live Facebook, live, any type of live video is the future in marketing. And so I would encourage anybody to get started. It doesn't matter who you are, just get on there and just talk about what you like to talk about for 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Start off small. Next thing you know, you're going to be so excited about what you want to share with people. It's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes and you're still talking. You're not going to want to get off the deal. That's just kind of how it rolls into it. But I'd start off slow because it allows you an opportunity to share, like Nicole said, living out loud, to share the reality of who you are and what you do. And that's when you become relatable with people. And it's really all about that, becoming relatable. The more relatable you are, the more people are going to engage with you and the more people want to follow you. And next thing you know, you're just like Sandy, contacting Hernan to find out more about what he's doing. That's just how it works.
Yeah, you guys, if you're the least bit interested in this sort of thing, you should go find Keith on Facebook and give him a like and go through his feed and look at some of his lives. I have this desire to do what you do, Keith, and I probably will. I don't know that I'll sing and dance like Nicole.
Like to go. I keep thinking about doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it works.
I'm not sure if I could do that. I talked about one of my favorite Western movies is Tombstone. If you haven't seen it, it's just an amazing with Val Kilmer and we talked about doing that final scene with Johnny Ringo and what was his name? Doc Holliday. That final scene in the movie. I talked about doing that. Doing a Facebook Live and introducing Swish and the Neumi skin somehow in that wording, but I don't know if I could pull that off, man. Nicole's amazing at what she does, and I learned so much from watching her. I'm not that outgoing or extroverted, or if that's the right word. I wear my heart on my sleeve a lot, and I get very emotional and not intentional. I don't even know if that can be done. I'm just sitting here talking about being emotional. My eyes are tearing up. I don't know why that happens like that or how it happened. I just get so excited for people's success and people winning, and to see what everybody here is doing and how this product is helping people's lives change. I think when you just sharing that from your heart, people resonate with that, and then they'll ask more questions, and when they do, you can help them make a difference in their lives. And when you do that, that does good for your heart and it does good for them, and then you got a team of people doing the same thing, and then you got a team of people all in lockstep moving forward in the same direction. Just amazing things happen.
Yeah. I think we should those of us that have done well in the industry, I think we should do this often for our team and get on here and just chat and share from the heart on the building of this. And I think that a lot of what you're saying and a lot of what they're hearing is resonating, and it'll help people to move, forward. So we've gone for an hour and 20 minutes, so we should probably jump off here. I know we all have a life. I'm going to go to work, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hernan.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for jumping on here and being a part of this. And thank you guys that have had experiences in the past for sharing from the heart. And you guys all have a wonderful day. What is today? Today's
Tuesday,
Tuesday. All right, all right, all right. So
days before payday.
yeah, that's right.
That's right.
So listen, I'm going to do a testimonial call at 1:15 because Steve's going to do his at noon Pacific, his Neumi breakthrough story. So I will do that testimonial call. And then tomorrow I'll be on here doing the overview at 10 o'clock. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.